All right, we're continuing with arrays and looking at NumPy, and we want to start trying to figure out how to dig into these arrays. So today we're going to talk about assignment and indexing. So when you look at an array, each element in the array, whether it's a 2 by 2 by 2 or a 10 by 20 or a 10 by 20 by 12, each element in the array has an index. So when you look at an array, each element in the array has an index. The index can be used to call the element based on its location within the array. Indexing, so we don't start with 1, indexes all start with 0. So indexing is 0 based. All right, this means the first element in a one-dimensional array is identified as 0, blank, right? Because there is no rows. It's just a string of data. So that is the first element in a one-dimensional array. Right? You can create a range of values and, say from 1 to 19, and you can identify the third value and the third to last value. So let's see if we can try that. So what we're going to do is we're going to, as an example, we're going to create a range, and remember that's the aRange function of values from 1 to 19. And we're going to identify the third value and the third to last value. Okay, this is the example that we're going to try. Okay, so first thing, what do we got to do? We want to use NumPy, whatever you want to call it, and we've got to import it into the script. So import NumPy as NP, all right? And you see this little thing here, this little caution. We haven't used it yet, right? But now I'm about to use it, and you'll see that little caution symbol go away. So first of all, we want to create an array. We're going to call the array X, and X is going to equal, now, see the thing went away, but NP dot arrange, and we want an arrange from 1 to 20, okay? That's what we want. All right, so we're gonna run our import, and then we're gonna run our range, all right? And we're gonna find out what the shape of it is, what the values are in it. So we're gonna run this line. And there we go. It's actually from 0 to 19, not 1 to 19. It's 0 to 19, all right? So we have 20 numbers from 0 to 19. If I wanted to go from 1 to 19, I'd have to put in some more information. Okay, and so here the size is 20 comma, right? So what I'm going to do is I want to change the shape of X from this string to a 4 by 5 array, all right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do X shape equals 4, 5, right? And this should give us a different array. So let's see if X changes. X now changes. It's now a 4 by 5 array of integers, right? And it goes, these are the rows. The first row starts with 0, the next one starts with 5, the next one starts with 10, and I would imagine if we could see it, the next one would start with 15. And if we wanted to see what this looks like, we can just type in X and see down here what it's going to look like. And that's what we've got. And if you wanted to see it here, you can hit print X and you could see it here. Oh, it's going to same place. All right, anyway, so it's just, that's the print X. This is it's just the definition of X. Either way, this is how you can see your array. So we just changed our array. Now, if I wanted to call and see what the value of X 1, 3, right? So X 1, 3, right? And we can see what our array looks like. I was going to see if I could blow this up, but I can't. That's okay. We can see what the array looks like. And 1, 3 is the first row and the third column. So let's see. 1, so this is not the first row, the second row. Remember, because this starts with 0. So it's this, and it's not the third element, it's the fourth element, right? So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So this should come back as 8. Let's see if my logic makes sense. Comes back as 8. Okay, so that stands for the second row, 1, and the fourth column, 3. I know it's weird, but that is how Python works. Let's see if we can go through the logic of X 3, minus 2. All right, so let's think about this. So 3, that would be the fourth row, so this would be this row, and minus 2 should be, this is 0, this would be minus 1, and this would be minus 2. So this should come back as 18. Let's see if my logic is sound. It comes back as 18. So what it does is it doesn't, I could also have done 3, 3 and got the 18, but I may not always know what the last value in the array is. In this case, I do. It's a little example. Let's try another one. Let's go with X 0, minus 1. Okay, so this is the first row, 0, and minus 1, it should come back as 4, right? Because this is 0 minus 1 is over here. So this should come back as a 4. Let's try it. Comes back as a 4. Excellent. All right, let's try a couple more. Just 2, 1. Okay, so this is the third row, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? Third row, and it's the second element, so it should come back as 11. Comes back at 11. Okay, I've got this. Okay, now what if I only put in X 0? Well, if my logic is sound, it should just come back with the first row completely, I think. Let's see. It came back as an array just as the first row. All right. So the code above, if we look at this, just to kind of define what we did, the code above identifies items within this 4 by 5 array of 20 numbers. And just to define this, and just to actually write it out, in the last line, which is that X0, in the last line of code, the output is the sub-dimensional array of the first row. Okay. The index for a two-dimensional array is always row, column, where 0 is the first row or first column. Right? So if I wanted to just pull the subdimensional array for the first column, well, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna give that a try. I haven't tried that yet, so we're gonna try it. So let's see, x. I'm gonna put in nothing and then a 0 and see if it likes that. It's telling me invalid syntax. So I'm not really sure. Will that do it? That did something. So here, I think I'm going to just run this. I haven't done this before, so let's see what that's going to give me. That gives me, so by putting in this colon, I get a subdimensional array, but this time I get the subdimensional array 0, 5, 10, 15. I get the column array. Versus if I had this just x0, I could have the row array. So you could, just for consistency purposes, you could also do x0, comma, colon, and that should also give you that subdimensional array for the row. All right? So if we kind of keep in mind that we always put the colon, that means we want everything in that element, everything in there, whether it's on the row side or on the column side.